Namaste and welcome to yAtrA Season 2, a journey through traditional performing arts. We've been meeting with some of the most famous and amazing performing artists from South India who are not only successful but also have been contributing a lot through music. Today, we are about to meet one such artist who is a child prodigy, comes from a great lineage of musicians who have been practicing Carnatic music for six generations. She's the niece of the legendary violinist Padma Bhushan Lalgudi Shriji Jayaraman. She has performed extensively, collaborated with illustrious musicians, traveled all over the world, and has received numerous awards. She's beautiful, talented, warm, humble, inquisitive, full of life, and a lot of fun to talk to. Please welcome Dr. Jayanthi Kumaresh. Namaste, Jayanti ji. How are you?
Namaste, doing very well. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Welcome to yAtrA Season 2. We are beyond thrilled to have you with us for this interview. Of course, I would like to know how COVID has changed your life, your teaching, performing, and what have been your recent projects and everything, all about it.
First of all, just want to find out how you all are doing, if you're all safe, how you are managing to keep yourself so culturally active in spite of so much happening all around you. First of all, a big congratulations to you for that.
Thank you, thank you.
What has happened in the last 1 year and what is happening right now again are two different things. The first, when we faced this huge monster called COVID, I was all packed with my tickets, boarding pass, ready to leave for Paris to
Wow.
perform in Theatre de la Ville with my husband Sri Kumaresh. I had just finished a concert in Mumbai, came back, and everything we had checked in. And just as we were about to leave, everybody in the house they called us and they said, "Situation is really bad. We are watching the news. Do not leave." We said the tickets are all sold out. We have signed a contract. We need to go. They
Mhm.
said everything can be brought back, but if something happens to you and Kumaresh, it's going to be irreparable. So we will not let you travel. So immediately the spiral came because I immediately had a very huge tour with Kala Ramnathji and Zakir Bhai in the US.
Hmm.
So that was a huge tour, and I wondered what's going to happen to that tour. And after that, performing with the Philharmonia in Finland, all these was it's like a pack of cards.
Mhm.
Everything was lined up. So all the visas had come, all the tickets were booked, and it was peak season. You know how April is, March, April is. So
Yeah.
all ready to travel and come. So initially, we thought this is something that's going to stay for a couple of months and everything's going to be, everybody lived happily ever after that.
Yeah.
Then slowly it dawned on us that was not going to be, and then the lockdown came.
Right.
And then I don't want to use the cliched term new normal because for musicians, nothing is normal. Every day is a different situation. If it's not COVID, it's missing a flight. If it's not missing a flight, it's your mic not working, or so many things could happen in a musician's life. Predominantly, initially was, oh God, from the age of 15, I've been performing, and pretty much 7 months at least, if you, I would be outside performing. So, shamelessly, I have to admit that I didn't even know what switches in the house was for which lights. So, this is the time to kind of find out what is happening around. And we have quite a few seniors in our family. We brought everybody over to one place, to our house. And we said, okay, now what do we do now? Of course, we were teaching students, the way we were teaching was more like, since I learned in a Gurukula pattern, I left my parents, went and stayed with my Guru. I thought the best way to learn was that. So I was very kind of not for online teaching and how can you learn something when you on if you press a button your guru pops up. I think that is too easy. I left my parents, I went and stayed with my guru and did so many things for me to get one kriti, one class. And we had to sacrifice so much to be able to learn. But sitting in the comfort of their bedroom, they'll just click one button and the guru pops up, and 5 to 6, and then you say, leave the class, and you're all done. Can it be that easy? And I wasn't willing to give away what was learned with a lot of labor, just like that. Uh, but then slowly, I realized that was the only way now. And I started teaching my students, my regular students, who used to come here, be with us, watch us practice, rehearse, travel with us to concerts. Now everybody was coming online. And then soon my office told me, Akka, we need to do this in a more organized fashion because everybody is at home, everybody is writing to office and saying we need to do something. So we formed the Jayanthi Kumaresh Academy for Veena, and we started the master classes and reaching out in at least 3 classes a month. It was heartwarming to see Veena players from every part of the world, every single part of the world, different time zones. A class would be people from, you name it, so many. We had people from Africa. So it was like that, and it was a great revelation to know that the Saraswati Veena is there in so many places. Apart from that creative work, we are used to the lights, the stage, the applause, the travel, the concerts. So we had to do something. I had already started the series called Kapo Carnatic on social media, and I
Yeah.
had done 3 seasons of Kapo Carnatic and 1 season of Carnatic during the Margari season. We said we should do something different to cheer everyone up. Then my office said, Akka, it's people who help me are all youngsters. So they said we should do a fun series so everybody can smile. So they said Shape of You or different Hollywood tunes. Let's take Pink Panther. Let's take Game of Thrones. Let's take Harry Potter. And you connect it through your Veena to Carnatic music. I said, well, see, I have a particular image as a Carnatic musician. Suddenly, if I play all of this, won't people think I'm playing covers of these things? So they said, no, I mean, it's up to you to make it seem like you are doing, you're just playing a line of that and doing Carnatic music mainly. So then every be it Harry Potter or Pink Panther or Few Ellies or Game of Thrones or James Bond or Pirates of the Caribbean, each of this I connected it to Carnatic ragas, and somehow initially I was feeling uncomfortable, but I got so thrilled playing all of this. I really enjoyed playing, and the response was tremendous. One, perhaps more people were watching. Two, I reached out to an audience which was entirely new from the audience that is used to listening to me in concerts. And people who have never heard the Saraswati Veena before said, hey, I like this instrument. I didn't know it was so cool. I thought only you would play your Sarigamapa in that. You were playing Pirates of the Caribbean. Suddenly, to young children, I became this cool auntie who played Harry Potter.
Oh, that's, yeah. I have been watching some of those. That is how I wanted to actually have you in this episode. I've been watching those shows, and I must say, I was beyond thrilled. I myself could not believe that, you could connect it so beautifully, yet, show them so separately. So, yeah, these have been like beautiful ventures from your side. How and why did you choose to be a vainika?
I don't think I chose. I started playing at the age of 3. Everybody was a violinist except my Periyamma, my mother's elder sister. My mother started me off on the veena. So sometimes I don't think we choose. I think the instrument says, okay, come. you play, or something like that, is kind enough to say, okay, maybe we'll give this person an opportunity or something. So I just found myself playing the veena, and it was quite a challenge in a family of violinists to play the Saraswati veena.
I know. So how I what was it like growing up in a family full of musicians, and what are your experiences with your gurus? Can you share some of it?
Since we are some six generations of musicians, music is the mother tongue. And it's not a choice whether you want to be a musician or you don't want to be a musician. The interesting thing is, since everybody is a musician and everybody is celebrated, and there are so many great giants of music in the family, nothing you do is like a wow for anyone. So if my colleagues who probably did some lovely things, the family used to celebrate and say, my daughter did this, my sister did this. In our house, nothing was a big deal. Even if you're the youngest person to get a top, or you're whatever youngest to do something, like, so what? So it was not celebrated. That gave us a great sense of level headedness. And always there was a line that you had to be good because you're from this family. You have to have a certain amount of, you have to equip yourself with so many things because people in this family are so good. And one question people used to ask me is, how come you have Lalgudi Mama as your mama, and you are not learning to play the violin? Somehow I played the veena, and initially it was a huge challenge. Then I think people got used to me playing the veena.
Yeah, we are very fortunate to know that you're playing the veena. So have you ever felt like, okay, let me try veena as well as the violin ever in your life?
No, I used to do vocal and veena. And it was Balachandar Mama, my guru, who told me that I want you to focus only on veena because paadradhukku there are many people, but we
Right.
really want very few people who have this felicity on the veena. So I want you to focus all your energies just on the veena.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I'm sure he was right about it. So to have had a career of being a vainika and a full-time performer, full-time musician, in your experience, what do you think are the prerequisites for an artist to be a full-time performer?
First, just like any other profession, to be a doctor, you do 10 years of school, 5 years of MBBS, 2 years of MD. If you ask a first year MBBS to do a surgery, he says, "Oh, I'm just doing first year." But say in music, somehow in 1 or 2 years, people want to go onto the stage without the full tayari.
Right.
Uh, we don't allow the dish to be fully baked. So to call yourself an amateur and say, this is my hobby, I just want to dabble with a couple of songs, is okay. But to call yourself a professional and not be fully ready is kind of injustice to the art. The first one is tayari, preparation. The second one is riyas, practice. The third thing is 360 view of the whole thing.
Mm,
Uh, you should have your own story to tell. You can't see as it is. My friend once asked me, so in Carnatic music, you all do only covers in concert because it is Tyagaraja's covers, Shyama Shastriji's covers. So you don't do your, whatever they have sung, you just do covers in your concert. I said, no, it's not like that. So each person, ragas are already there, kritis are already there. Why should anybody come and listen to you? So, if we answer this question, I think a musician can be successful. Why should anybody come and listen to you? The answer should be because I have a story to tell. And when will you have a story to tell? When you have a language that is fluent and you have a good communication to say it. It cannot be Tyagaraja Swami's story, it cannot be my guru's story, it cannot be my family's story, it has to be my story.
right.
So unless I find my story to tell in a Kambodi, What am I adding to this ragam? Something, so for which I should have learnt at least 20 kritis in Kambodi. I should have played Kambodi for at least 50 hours. And I should understand what is there in that ragam. And then I become friends with that ragam, and it starts unraveling a few petals to me, and then maybe I can add my own little story of Kambodi. So unless there is something special that I can give to this, there is no motivation. If what A gives is same as B or C or D, they can listen to everything. Everything sounds alike.
Right.
So they should say, if I go to this concert, I'm going to get this. So then they have the motivation to come to this concert. Otherwise, it's like I am speaking somebody's story through my voice. I'm a tape recorder.
Right. Right. Yeah,
So
that makes a lot of sense.
yeah, each person should have their own story to tell through the art. Art is a medium. What we have learned from our gurus are the rules of the game, but we have to play the game.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's actually a very different thought, and different spin that you have put, and I'm sure students will be, benefiting from that. Um, After having taken this as your full-time profession, what are the struggles and compromises you have had, both professionally and personally?
After taking it as a profession for a vainika, initially, in Chennai, there are different waves. One wave is when instrumentalist flourished a lot. There is a wave when vocalist flourished a lot. The time I came in, vocal was doing very well, and the crowd for the instrumental concerts was coming down considerably. Um, what happened was people started using words like, is Veena a dying instrument? Do you have enough opportunities? Can it be
Hmm.
played loudly? Can it be carried everywhere? Is it possible to amplify it? Oh, you're putting contact mic, so it's not the natural sound. Can you accompany vocal? Can you play speed? Will you check it in the flight? Is it as cool as the guitar? So, so many questions people had. Then the story is about making what they think as a disadvantage as an advantage. One, it's the national instrument of India. Two, instrumental music is both de-regional and de-religious. So an international audience does not need to know Telugu, Tamil, Sanskrit, does not need to know Rama, Krishna, Govinda, does not need to know anything. If they are just open to a sonic experience to the sound, instrumental music they can appreciate. So this is a great advantage because they are not overwhelmed by, Shama Shastri said that Kamalamba, whatever, this she went here and then her thing. All these stories they don't need. They just know the sound. Just this instrument, the grandeur, the appearance, the silence between. See, Veena, unlike flute or violin, you can't sustain a note. You pluck a note and the sound dies. So that is the silence between the notes which gives them the space to internalize what they have heard. So, which made a completely new international audience appreciate, celebrate, and actually have a wow feeling about this beautiful instrument. And
Right.
our temperament is when everything is appreciated worldwide. In India, we always think maybe we missed something. And then people do appreciate. But still, there are many people who think maybe instrumental music I don't understand. So it completely depends on what you are looking for.
Hmm.
When we confuse Carnatic music with religion, we have problem. If we look at it as an art form, then it's a different thing. If you coming to hear those Rama Ram and the Madri, if you want ecstasy with like a bhajan kind of a feeling, then instrumental music may not give you that high. But if
Right.
you're coming to celebrate a raga, you're coming to celebrate improvisation, you're coming to celebrate sound. So if you ask me, what are the two things that is important for music? I won't say melody and rhythm. I will say sound and silence.
Hmm. Beautiful. Hmm.
Silence is the scape, and my brush is the sound, and I paint a sound. You do if I say, oh, you want to listen to me, you have to know what ragas are, what Telugu is, what Hinduism is. And then I'm putting too many barriers before people can come and listen to me. So the more open you become, the more people you can reach.
Right. So, what have been the struggles?
The struggles, of course, practically struggles was initially carrying the instrument, because at one time I was traveling too much, and sometimes I had to checking the instrument, lifting it, actually worrying whether it's going to come in a single piece, and making the instrument to different, like when you go to Norway, melamla, it'll come out of place. How do you manage traveling? Second was amplification.
Hmm.
Until I hit upon the right way to amplify it, it was a struggle, because I had my setup, but each sound engineer has his setup.
Right.
So to find the right sound balance, that was a struggle. The third thing was I was always performing with instruments like violin, flute, sitar, which could play triple the speed of the veena. So I had to do what they would do in one palm like this. I had to travel, take two buses and two trains and travel, and had to do it in the same time. So
Right.
that was a challenge. So practicing to keep up. So when I used to play with Kumareshji, Ganeshji and Kumareshji are known for their speed in
Right.
playing. So
Right.
when I used to play with Kumareshji, he'll say, "Oh, should I slow it down for you?" I said, "No, no, 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 play. We Veena players can play. We may just travel a little more, but we'll get there. Do not slow anything for me."
Oh,
So, yeah. So we really had to pull up our socks till our necks. And those
okay.
were.
Has it ever have you ever experienced the instrument getting a little disturbed or something missing, or too much of scrutiny in the security? Have you ever experienced that? Because uh, when students choose veena as an instrument, the first thing that comes to their mind is how am I going to travel with it? So how do you manage those things? So that will be like a great piece of information for students wanting to take up this instrument as their profession.
We now have fiberglass cases which you can put into and check it in and travel, because um, I have a Veena that I can keep in my cabin, or I used to buy a seat for my Veena in flights, so that it's sitting right next to me. That's an expensive proposition. The easy one would be finding the fiberglass case and checking it in.
Checking
But
it
the
in.
risk there is always the case will be fine. The case maker always says nothing will happen to the case. Never say nothing will happen to the Veena.
Obviously.
Because every single time something's happened to the Veena, the case has been perfect.
Right.
Because of the pressure, inside there may be a crack. Sometimes the Veena won't come. And the I had once a concert in Canada. The Veena didn't come, and the organizer, half an hour before, he says, "Why don't you sing?" I said, "It doesn't happen like that." 3 hours. It doesn't happen like that.
Wow.
So yeah, the Veena won't come on time. Suddenly, what will happen is while you do sound check with the curtain down, the AC will be on. You would have set it. The minute the curtain opens and the force, harsh stage lights come, all the shrutis will raise, and it will, because wood is a living thing, it will react to
Right.
temperature. So there are several challenges. Just like you vocalist have to watch every temperature change, everything you drink, everything you breathe. Similarly, the instrument is as sensitive as that. Only thing, you don't have to check in your throat, but we have to check in the instrument.
Yeah, that is true. Um, so my next question to you would be, having taken your passion as your profession, what has been the journey? How have you taken it? What are the pluses and minuses of it? Keeping the passion as profession.
I think it's a very blessed spot to be in. How many
Hmm.
people are so lucky? I've met so many people who say, "I wish I was that," and but I'm doing this. So I think really we are blessed to have it as a profession and passion. And I think one has to be really lucky, because having different things as a passion is fine, but having an art form and music which is closest to the soul, Not only you feel happy, you make so many people happy. I think we are really blessed.
Absolutely, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But what are the struggles of keeping the passion as your profession? Have you
Most
have you had any in your life?
No, I don't think so. I've never felt threatened about having Veena as my profession or as my passion. Um, no, I don't think so.
Do
I
you
didn't have.
ever feel like, oh my God, okay, what now? Where do I take it from? Where do I take this towards? Have you ever felt like that?
No, I have, if at all anything, I have only felt, well, I need to expand more. I need to further my horizon a little more. I need to reinvent now. I need to come up with a fresh thought now. So, because it's very easy to stagnate if you think, oh, I'm in this very comfortable bubble, I'm doing very well. And, um, I once saw someone wearing a t shirt that said, life begins outside your comfort zone.
Right.
So it's very, very comfortable for me to play the Kalyanis and Kambodis and Shankarabharanam and Dikshitar Tyagaraja, Varnam, Sadinchane, Main, Ragam, Thanam, Pallavi. But the minute people say, so you say Veena is such a versatile, how about playing with this blues thing? Oh, it's very wrong. It's very easy to say, I don't do those things. But the challenge is, let me give it a shot. If I fail, I fail. But I had an experience of learning something.
Right.
So I think as artists, we shouldn't close doors. Some succeeds, some fails, but we should have the experience of having tried it because otherwise we would have missed something.
Right. So keep trying, keep pushing yourself out of comfort zone and explore new things. Doesn't matter whether it succeeds or fails. Good. Beautiful. Who have been your role models other than your gurus, especially for Veena?
Not just for Veena, for me, every single person I meet is a role model. There are some students um, who are so dedicated. So I would think, I really want to teach this person something. And something about that person's interest will make me want to practice more. So I think we should be a student in every sense of the term. So I have a very observant, at least I think I observe quite a lot. So when a person speaks, when a person asks question, I observe where they come from, why are they speaking like that, what could be the background of them doing that. So that gets me thinking. So if I see a fruit vendor at 2 p.m. in Chennai, enthusiastically saying, oh, idu vaangunga, adu vaangunga, we've got. I think, what is it that keeps him? It's not just the money,
Yeah.
that zest to excel in what he's doing.
Right.
So, everything we see, if we seek inspiration from that, there are some talks which I may not subscribe to their views, but I'll sit and watch it because of the way they are convincingly speaking and their language. So, every single opportunity is a learning opportunity, either how to be or how not to be.
Not to be. Very true. That is something I tell my children too. Yeah. So yeah, inspiration can come from anywhere. That's actually a very good point. So uh, in essence, you're trying to say that you just have to have an open mind.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Also,
That
you need to appreciate.
appreciate. Yes. Um, so what have been the advantages of performing regularly? And what have been the advantages of performing regularly in your teaching and vice versa?
Performing regularly is a high that musicians are used to. It's almost like an addiction. The what I do, I was just telling my husband today that every time I was feeling a little low, I would sit and close my eyes, and I would imagine I'm sitting in the boarding gate and with my instrument in my hand. My co artists are checking their phones. they're calling for the flight. Let's say they say boarding Charlotte, or some other thing like that. You have just played a concert on Friday. Next concert is on Saturday. You're wondering in your mind what to play this evening, and it's very early morning. The smell of Starbucks coffee is coming. Pretzel smell is coming. People from different duty free are trying different perfumes, walking across, and minutes you're going to board, you are in a hurry to board first because you want to keep your instrument. So I imagine a scenario like that, something that I'm very used to. The other scenario I imagine very often is like I'm playing the 7 o'clock concert. This is the usual setup, and the 5 o'clock concert is happening there. That is in some G or something. I wonder. I immediately I listen. Are they singing my Kiravani? No, they are singing something else. My co-artists are tuning their mridangams. The organizer comes in. You want tea, you want coffee, and you are tuning your instrument. So these scenarios are some things that has become like home for us after having
Hmm.
performed of 15. So to perform is very different from just playing at home or being an artist. The minute you go out there and perform, you are committed to making n number of people happy.
Right.
To say I will go and do only what I am happy about, I don't think it's fair on all those people who have taken so much trouble to come there. So it's like you've invited all these people for a lovely meal, and you might as well cook something they like to eat.
Right. Right.
But it's also good to make some little thing that you like to eat.
Sure.
I like to see that the audience go back happy. They've taken something with them. They say, well, for those 2.5 hours, I came a little bit disturbed. Then I didn't know what was happening. So many things were happening. Was really overjoyed, and I'm going back a happier person. So,
Fantastic. Hmm.
the experience of performing, when you teach, you tell your students how to plan a concert, how to not let your concert sag, how to plan a set list,
Hmm.
maintain your stamina till after your main. Don't exhaust all your stamina in your sub main. How to do sustain till the end and keep yourself fresh till the end. If you have back to back concerts, how to plan those concerts, how much to give, how to speak, how much to exert, how to make the swara kalpana for each song different, how not to sound become boring.
Right.
So these are the things that you will help. Now, in teaching, sometimes while teaching, there'll be a question that the student asks that will make you wonder. So, is my audience also not understanding this bit? My student is not understanding. So maybe I should break this down when I play in the concert so the audience are with me. Maybe I should stop, explain this, and then play. They will understand. So breaking things into little parts while you teach helps you in your performing.
Very interesting. Hmm. Beautiful. Have you traveled with your students ever?
Always.
Okay.
99% pre-COVID, because I have a huge instrument and I have quite a lot of my equipment. They'll take turns. So each one will say, this time I'm going with Akka, this time I'm going. Definitely there'll be someone who's coming with me.
Okay, that's really nice. So, what is your practice regimen now that you are an established performer? How different is it, or what are the similarities between a student who is learning than a student who has gained experience, and also compared to a professional musician? So, how does the practice regimen change, especially with Veena? Because you need to keep up, as you mentioned, speed. You need to keep up with it. So, what are the things that you practice to keep up with the speed, the melody, and the rhythm factor?
One is regular practice and one is concert oriented practice. When we have back to back concert, somehow we do more concert oriented practice. We say, today I'm going to present Ragam Thanam Pallavi Sucharitra. So you are sitting and playing that, and that is very nice. But in this 1 year, when we didn't perform as much, I got back to my old type of practice, which I would divide into four parts. So in the morning, we would practice exercises and 3 octave exercises, Veraladi, pulling techniques, and everything. And then the second part of the practice, noon types, would be repertoire. Maybe Rendakala Varnam, great compositions, and all of that. The evening, I would imagine I'm playing a concert, let's say in Shanmukananda today. So it would be like a concert with improvisation. Every day, my teacher, when I was with my guru, she used to say, இன்னைக்கு நீ வந்து நாரதகான சபால வாசிக்கிற, இன்னைக்கு நீ அகாடமியில வாசிக்கிற. So how I would plan. So I would play like that. Night is for the creative and fun stuff. I'm going to try blues today. I'm going to do some fun thing before you go to sleep. So when you divide your practice, you have done your exercises, you have done your repertoire, you have done your manodharma, and you have done stretch your boundary with some innovation. So if you split the practice like that, it's fun and it's not tedious.
Fantastic. That's a great plan. Thank you for sharing. What are your most cherished memories with your gurus and also the audience?
With my gurus, there are several. Um, my Perima is by far, the whole Carnatic music world would agree, the strictest teacher ever possible.
I've
So
heard about it,
every
yeah.
single person I meet, even now, would say, "How did you stay with her for 20 years?" So, because she would wake me up at 4 and I have to practice till 7. And even if I had my public exam, 10th or 12th, she would, as if she's letting me watch a movie, she said, "If you play today, you can go and write your exam." So, how I studied, how I wrote those exams, and she had a plan. In such a way, she made me learn French in Alliance Francaise. She says, for a lady of that generation, she's 86 now, to come up with a plan to make a 360 degrees preparation. She made me learn Ragam Thanam Pallavi with TRS Mama. She made me learn with Tanjaur Shankarayar Mama. And then I learned Padams Javlis from Brinda Ma. And then I used to go to DKJ Mama to learn specialized Dikshitar Kritis. So many all-round Sanskrit teacher would come home, Telugu teacher would come home for me to understand the Kritis. I would go to Alliance, and then I learnt Bharatanatyam from Valli Akka, so that
Wow.
tomorrow I'm composing for dance, I would know what dance is. So she thought of, and I had to listen to yester musicians concerts to see how they sang. Then I had to put talam for so many Tanyavartanams to understand what a Tanyavartanam is. um, like this, there are not one but many. How she, a complete planned food madri, she really had a complete plan for a person of that generation. She's not an MBA, to have a plan like that to bring up someone. I think it was amazing. With
Yeah,
Balaji,
that's
it was like watching a PC Sarkar show. So nothing was planned. So he would say, as soon as I come, go bring that Dikshitar book. And he would say, just close your eyes and open. Whichever song comes, let's both learn it together. So it was a completely different. Here, Padandaram was so important. There, discovery was so important. So when
wow.
I went to Malgudi Mama's house, creativity was so, aesthetics and creativity was so important. In Perima's house, discipline and doing the same thing again and again, following your timetable, doing your practice was so important. So I think I was so fortunate to get these uh, different inputs, and God gave me the mind not to judge and say, "Oh, this is the only path."
Right. Absolutely.
So if you close like that and say, "No, no, no, that's not right, this is the right thing, that is not right," I'm closing the doors to having new experiences.
Right.
So each
Yeah.
experience was like Alice in Wonderland for me, because I was young. And I would say, "Oh, so I would tune myself. Now put it in this mode, fun mode. Now put it in this mode. Now, oh, Perima's house, 7 to 8, idu pannano." So it was like that. That
Very nice.
very, very beautiful memories.
Yeah. Yeah, it shows in your music, how you have been shaped up. It absolutely shows in your music, the dynamism, the discipline, everything that you mentioned, and the poise and the way you carry yourself with so much grace. Everything is, in display when you perform. And that is very intriguing that you shared with me this detail, because that's what you are. That is who you have become, with the input from so many different people, so many different approach and perspectives. It has you have become like a well-rounded, you know, artist. That's like amazing. I'm so happy for you.
Definitely, you can't see on the Zoom, but I'm really well rounded.
No, no, no. I don't believe you at all. Um, so, with all that is changing now, with so many things becoming super uncertain, what would your main message still be for aspiring musicians, young musicians?
To learn, introspect. The journey is important, not the destination. The destination, if let us take a small example of buying a beautiful sari. So you see a sari in a shop, you think of the color, you say, I want to buy it, and you imagine yourself in it. What is the jewelry I'm going to wear? How am I going to wear? So this is the fun. The minute you have it in that cover, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's done. It's
Right.
not fun anymore. Maybe you will wear it once and then it's just there in the hanger.
Yeah.
So the journey, say, let us say to learn the music. So I think learning the music not just to perform, but to appreciate, to be helpful to others, to make it as a part of your personality, to teach your children, to be a musicologist, to be a writer, and to do a non-screen activity. You know, you're not over the computer, but you can close your eyes, you can feel it. See, this music is such a beautiful thing. It's the sixth natural element. You can't touch it, you can't see it, you can't put it in a bag, but it does something to you. So I
Right.
think the minute we start enjoying the journey and the discovery, so the value of each class, each person who's learning from you, who's going to watch this, I think they should come to you with this, oh, I'm going to discover something. She's coming from such a great family of musicians. We are so lucky to have her here in Boston. And she's going to teach us and she's going to tell us something special today. So that joy of learning from you, because what you have learned has marinated over several years, and your genes have so much of music in what you are going to teach them. It's not your it's like a banyan tree with a root. You are not like a bonsai in a small pot.
Right.
You are a huge banyan tree because you have lineage.
Right.
And when you give something to them, it is you are giving them a piece of your entire lineage, and it is something you have learned having been born in a family that is as great as that.
Right.
So when they learn a piece of music from you, the entire lineage is being given to them so easily. They should just enjoy that, cherish that, not for going and singing in Super Singer or going and singing in Tyagaraja Aradhana, but for the sheer joy that you have been benevolent enough to share that with them. You are sharing a piece of your life with them, which is so beautiful. And I think the journey, performance is incidental. Today we are all not performing, but music has kept us happy.
Right.
If it happens, we get the opportunities, it's fine. If it doesn't, still we have something which we can cherish all our life. We can hum a tune as you're taking a shower. You can hum a tune. You can teach a song to your child. This is the
Right.
great gift you can give anybody. Teaching music, I think, is the greatest gift you can give anybody.
Very true. Yeah, those were exactly the words of my guru, my grandfather, Sri Ovi Subramanian. And he always used to say that music is the best thing in the world. You know, you go to somebody's house, you eat a meal, you can cherish about it, a little while. But if you sing a song, it's going to stay in people's memory for, a long time to come. So thank you so much for sharing all your thoughts, all your wonderful experiences, your deep knowledge, and your vast exploration, and for giving us this time, away from your family. We really appreciate that. I know
Absolute pleasure.
currently, currently everybody, is busy with their own things, and they want to stay with their family and stuff like that. So I really appreciate you taking this time for us and giving us all these valuable ideas and tips and advice. So thank you so much, Jayanti ji. Stay home, stay well, and hopefully I will see you soon in a in-person concert, live concert. Yeah.
You all stay safe.
Thank you so much. Namaste. Thank you.